I think so much about what the internet means for art and what the internet means for music. And I don't know exactly what I think, but one thing I'm very sure about is that the internet changes art completely. Like, art was one way before the internet, and now after the internet, art is something completely different. And we don't yet know what this change is. Like, we're just starting to feel it. For all those years when I was a teenager in my early 20s, I wrote songs every day, but I never played them for anyone. I never recorded them. I thought someday I would play them for people and record them, but I never did. I guess I was too afraid. And then about 2 years ago, we recorded all the songs very quickly in 8 days. We put them on the internet. There was no internet back when I was writing songs. And it was just like an attempt to see what happens if you put these songs, these secret songs from my youth, if we put them out there in the world. And then people could record them. We invited anyone who wanted to record their own version and see what it sounds like, see what it's like to try and spread songs on the internet, not only through downloading, but by people recording their own versions of them. Sometimes I'm barely a functional creature. I'm Jacob the preacher, just preaching my nothingness. Nothingness sits between pain, between pleasure, in between measure, not really so helpful, just helpfully asking unanswerable questions. My endless suggestions, all leading in circles, For me, in a record store is where I feel like I'm connected to music, where I feel I'm attached to music. But I feel it's because of, the year I was born in, or like, a 15-year-old today, they associate their computer with music. Their record store means nothing to them. They don't care. And I listen to so much music on the internet, actually every day. Probably many hours of listening to music on the internet. And but I don't have the same. There's songs that I love on the internet, and I cannot remember. I can't find them again. I can't remember who they were by. So it follows my heart, perhaps hollow, but not my singing.
So does this height seem okay for you?
Yeah. I think it's fine. Every song I've ever written is a project about the fact that when I was younger, I wrote songs. And for, 15, 20 years, I wrote songs every day and played them every day. And then I stopped. I think I had very little musical talent. And maybe one of the main points of this project is to fantasize of what kind of songwriter I would be if I did have musical talent. You can tell I'm not really a songwriter because I don't know how to tune a guitar. When I'm departed, flowers on my grave, there will be talk of how I was depraved. Theories will abound, but deep underground, I won't have to hear how I might have been saved. When I wrote this song, I could hit those high notes. And now I know I can't anymore. That's how I know how young I was when I wrote them. It was the fashion then to spread your wings. I spread my wings, but it didn't help. And I needed help with so many things. But I knew everything and everyone. And without paying the rent. So it's about these songs I wrote when I was younger and about music on the internet. And what we ended up deciding to do is a website, everysongi'veverwritten.com, where you can listen to all the songs I wrote when I was younger. You can download them all for free, though no one wants them, but they're there. They're for free. And also you can record your own version and send it in to us. And we also put your version of the song on the website. Then there's a solo performance where I play all the songs. It takes about 5.5 hours. And then finally, there's the band night, which we're going to have the first one now here in Dusseldorf. And here we'll have 4 local bands from Dusseldorf, and each of them will get up and play one of my songs. And afterwards, I'll interview them. And I've told the band that they can have absolute freedom.
Just for you. The opposite of irony. There's nothing left to do or say. I'll sing the songs I write the wrongs. I'll sing the songs I write the wrongs. Beautiful white bunnies.
And they fuck like bunnies. Beautiful white bunnies. I watch them through binoculars, through the distant haze.
I watch them through binoculars, through the distant haze.
I had a very positive feeling to it. I mean, it felt fascinating to me. And also, like, mysterious, like, what is this? Like, I don't know what this is. Is this art? Is this a concert? Is this a talk show? Is this television? But television doesn't know it yet. But then also I had this feeling like, be careful what you ask for, because I told the bands they could have complete freedom with my songs. But mainly I felt they wrote their own songs and used a few of my lyrics. And I thought it was great too, but, you know, there's always a part of you that's a little bit hurt. Like, oh, but I like my song too. Maybe I want to be famous more than the bands here in Dusseldorf, because, I mean, you know, Andy Warhol said everybody will be famous for 15 minutes, but then Momus, this singer that I like a lot, he did a little riff on it, and he said, in the future everyone will be famous for 15 people. And this is something about how you post something on the internet and 15 of your friends can see it or share it. And there's something about how many songs there are on the internet that makes me feel existential, that makes me feel it's just another song. But I think I do have this real melancholic, existential frame of mind, which you also feel in all of my song lyrics, that says it's hard to stand out, or it's... And then I wonder, like, why do I care? Like, my songs are on the internet and they're part of a community of songs on the internet, and why isn't that enough for me? Do you remember what it was like listening to music before the internet or after the internet, and has it changed the way you listen to music?
Für mich ist das Internet eher eine Chance, es ist eine Art von Demokratie, dass nicht mehr irgendwelche gierigen Manager-Mentalitäten bestimmen, was Musik ist, was gute Musik ist, sondern dass ja, die gierigen Manager auch langsam aus diesem Markt verschwinden, weil damit zurzeit nicht so viel Geld zu machen ist, weil halt durch diese illegalen Downloads ist es ein bisschen unschmackhaft geworden für sie. Und wir können jetzt uns alle überlegen, wie man es wieder dahin kriegt, dass alle Musikliebhaber Musik kaufen. Ich finde, ein guter Anfang ist, dass Vinyl wiederkommt. Ja, ich glaube, da wird schon eine Lösung geben.
If you look at it with a longer term view, the idea of saying, oh, it's not, people don't sell as many records as they did in the 1970s or the 1980s, but that is just a little blip in history. Ideas have always been exchanged. It's a return to a more natural sharing of ideas and less this idea of this is a branded product and we use it to make money and it exists, you know, in a physical form. It's an idea and ideas are fluid.
My name is Jacob Wren. This time I mean it. I wish to sing a song and not demean it. There are strangers who are wandering, as I wander as well. They have thoughts and they have stories they might someday get to tell. And I wander past them briskly, and I wonder who they are. And their looks all bright and misty shine upon me like the stars, shine upon me like the stars.